distinguished guests, students, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am Captain Christopher Kowalski. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for the 2022 Joint Service ROTC Awards ceremony. This ceremony honors those cadets, midshipmen, officer candidates, and MECEPs who have distinguished themselves in both military and academic performance during the 2021 to 2022 academic year. Please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may be seated. It is now my pleasure to introduce Colonel Lawrence Habbard, United States Air Force, Professor of Aerospace Studies and the 2022 Joint Service Coordinator.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends of our midshipmen and cadets, cadre members, supporters of this noble program, to recognize those students that have chosen that difficult and more arduous path. We're here today to recognize those that have excelled beyond that of some of their peers, but I will tell you from my program's perspective, those being rewarded today and awarded are emblematic of all the young people we get to work with. So welcome to today's ceremony. It's my privilege to be able to introduce our featured speaker for today. He is the current Vice President and Senior Associate Dean of Undergraduate Education, a huge supporter of our program. He helps me and my uniformed counterparts languish through the university processes and bureaucracy to ensure our cadets and midshipmen get the due that they deserve in the path of their education here at Penn State. So at this time, I'd like to call forward Dr. Jeff Adams.
Good afternoon. On behalf of President Barron, Provost Jones, and all the faculty, staff, and students of the Pennsylvania State University, I welcome you to the 2022 Joint Services ROTC Awards Ceremony. It is my pleasure to join you this afternoon in recognizing our midshipmen and cadets who have achieved both military and academic achievement. Penn State has a proud ROTC tradition since 1916. Our programs are the largest in the Big Ten and consistently rank among the top in the nation in terms of quality, size, viability, and officer production. It is a great source of pride of all of us that Penn State is continuing to prepare military leaders of outstanding quality and dedication. And we continue to be aware of the important role that these students will play in preserving and protecting the security of this country and promoting peace in the world. In addition to the military training that these midshipmen and cadets receive, they are engaged in a wide variety of academic pursuits and fields of study, including research work within their disciplines on campus, study abroad programs, and academic internships in a variety of organizations agencies, and offices. Approximately 94% of the senior midshipmen and cadets enrolled in Penn State ROTC programs at University Park last semester had GPAs higher than 3.0. That is an astonishing percentage when you consider the combined work that these students take on to meet both their academic and their ROTC commitments. Many of these students are routinely named at the dean's lists of their respective colleges, and many of the seniors in attendance today will be graduating with academic distinction at our upcoming commencement ceremonies, May 6th to 8th, 2022. These ROTC students give back to Penn State and our community by volunteering many hours of service. For example, they take place in Thon, the Penn State Dance Marathon, to raise millions of dollars for research on children's cancer. They host blood drives, work for the United Way, participate in student organizations, clubs and sports, serve as youth mentors, and conduct the joint service color guard representation at many of Penn State's home athletic events, as well as events for the local community. Thank you for all you do. In preparation for today's event, I had the opportunity to learn a little bit more about some of our award winners. I was impressed by the breadth and diversity of the opportunities that these students have embraced. They welcome these co-curricular activities as readily and as ably as they embrace their academic studies and their military training. As they prepare to move to the beginning of the next part of their training, it is clear to me that they are ready to face whatever challenges they face with high standards, integrity, and a commitment to excellence. Each of these students personifies the characteristics that make ROTC such a proud tradition at Penn State. I mentioned earlier that Penn State Reserve Officer Training Corps is the largest in the Big Ten. By the end of this academic year, Penn State will have commissioned 190 new officers into the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Air Force. This is due both to the high quality and dedication of our midshipmen and cadets consistently demonstrate, and to the outstanding leadership that they are given by the commanders, cadres, and staff of each of our programs. I thank all the ROTC staff for their commitment to these students. For our guests, your attendance today is an indication of your commitment to these talented young men and women. I especially wish to thank those who will be presenting awards at the ceremony. Your dedication to our ROTC programs and these fine young men and women is very much appreciated. And to the parents and families of all these students, we are pleased that you are able to join us today to celebrate these achievements. I also wish to thank you for sharing your daughters and sons with us for the last few years. And thank you for all the support and encouragement that you have provided. We know that they are becoming well prepared to assume leadership positions in this nation and around the world. And may our collective commitment to them be a central part of their lives forever. As soon-to-be alumni of one of America's greatest academic institutions, they now carry on the great tradition of being Penn State proud. Again, I welcome you each and thank you all for attending today's ceremony.
Thank you, Dr. Adams. We will now present this year's awards. Please hold your applause until the end of the ceremony. Mr. David Kessling, Sioux Director, will present the American Legion Medals, 40 and 8. These awards are presented to Army cadets and Navy midshipmen who demonstrated outstanding military excellence and scholastic achievement. For military excellence, the recipients are Cadet Vinayak Muchi, Army. For scholastic excellence, the recipients are Cadet Leah Lenker, Army. Midshipman Zachary Stevenson, Navy. Miss Tina Pritz, American Legion Post 536 will present the American Legion Wilson Patton Post 536 ROTC Awards. These awards are presented to the Air Force ROTC cadets in each class who are in the upper 25% of their aerospace studies class and who demonstrate outstanding qualities in military leadership, discipline, character, and citizenship. For military excellence, the recipients are Cadet Sebastian Ruiz, Air Force. Cadet Caitlin Brush, Air Force. Cadet Cole Renfro, Air Force. Cadet Justin Harris, Air Force. For scholarship excellence, the recipients are Cadet Mohammed Caulfield, Air Force. Cadet Benjamin Catuli, Air Force. Cadet Ryan Zalewski, Air Force. Cadet Brady Smith, Air Force. Mr. Larry Hess, American Legion Post 245, will present the American Legion Post 245 ROTC Awards. These awards are presented to cadets, midshipmen, and officer candidates who demonstrate outstanding military excellence and scholastic achievement. For military excellence, the recipients are Cadet Nathaniel Bampton, Army. Midshipman John Skehan, Navy. Cadet Alyssa Wicks, Air Force. For scholarship excellence, the recipients are Cadet Angelica Tripadianos, Army. Midshipman James Sant, Navy. Cadet Wyoming Jeffries, Air Force. Miss Nancy Perkins, Bellefonte Chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, will present the Daughters of the American Revolution Awards. These awards are presented to the senior Army and Air Force cadets and naval midshipmen or officer candidates who are in the upper 20% of both their ROTC and academic subject classes and who demonstrate qualities of good character, leadership ability, and fundamental and patriotic understanding of the importance of ROTC training. This year's recipients are Cadet Shannon Amel, Army. Midshipman Renee Boudreau, Navy. Cadet Brooke McLaughlin, Air Force. Mr. Jim Keener, representing the Centre County Chapter of Sons of the American Revolution, will present the Sons of the American Revolution Awards. These awards are presented to the Army and Air Force cadets and naval midshipmen or officer candidates at the end of the first year of the 2-year or 4-year program and to the Air Force cadet at the end of their third year of the program, who demonstrate outstanding leadership qualities, military bearing, and all-around excellence in ROTC studies and activities. This year's recipients are Cadet Nathaniel Carey, Army. Midshipman Tristan Ritter, Navy. Cadet Patrick Coyne, Air Force. Mr. William Fisher, Major Retired, will present the next award, the Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War ROTC Award. These awards are presented to the Army and Air Force cadets and naval midshipmen who demonstrate a high degree of patriotism to his or her nation and has demonstrated a high degree of academic performance and leadership. This year's recipients are Cadet Nathan Monday. Midshipman Owen Walsh. Cadet Sean Paisley. Colonel Lawrence B. Havard, Commander, Detachment 720, will present the next group of awards. The Reserve Officer Association. These awards are presented to the Army and Air Force cadets and naval midshipmen in the top 10% of their ROTC class who demonstrate outstanding scholarship achievement and display outstanding leadership potential. The recipients are Cadet George Castillo, Army. Cadet Garrett Young, Army. Cadet Michael Poe, Army. Midshipman Elizabeth DeMarco, Navy. Midshipman Benjamin Probert, Navy. Midshipman Joseph Donofrio, Navy. Cadet Connor Dowdell, Air Force. Cadet Alexia Kalman, Air Force. Mr. William McCamley, Commander of VFW Post 321, will present the Veterans of Foreign Wars Awards, State College Post 321. These awards are presented to the Air Force cadets in each aerospace studies class who demonstrate concentrated effort in military subjects and displays outstanding capabilities and diligence within the Air Force ROTC program. These recipients are Cadet Amaya Bell, Air Force. Cadet Juliana Hetzler, Air Force. Cadet Addie Navad, Air Force. Colonel Lawrence Havard, Commander Detachment 720, will present the American Veterans of World War II Awards. These awards are given to the cadets and midshipmen who best contribute to their class through attitude, academics, and officer potential. This year's recipients are Cadet Thomas Arceri, Army. Midshipman Joseph Locke, Navy. Cadet Connor Walcott, Air Force. Mr. David Ball, former Sergeant, U.S. Army. Lieutenant Colonel Michael M. Wirtz, U.S. Army retired, and Mr. Wayne M. Baggett, former Petty Officer 3rd Class, U.S. Navy, will present the National Sojourners Awards. These awards are presented to the outstanding sophomore or junior cadet and midshipman in each service who are in the top 25% of their university class and have contributed most to encourage and demonstrate Americanism within ROTC and on campus. This year's recipients are Cadet Caitlin Keel, Army. Midshipman Zachary Herzog, Navy. Cadet Sean Stafford, Air Force. Colonel Lawrence Havard, Commander Detachment 720, will present the next group of awards. The Military Order of the World Wars are presented to those individuals who have excelled in both their military and scholastic endeavors this academic year. This year's recipients are Cadet Eric Forchek, Army. Cadet Brett Montefiore, Army. Cadet Sean Berzonsky, Army. Midshipman Michael Davis, Navy. Jack Davis will be accepting the award on his behalf. Midshipman Brian Gallup, Navy. Cadet Thomas Hannon, Air Force. Cadet Madeline Cotto, Air Force. Cadet Joshua Mosser, Air Force. The Daughters of Founders and Patriots of America Award. This award is presented to the Air Force cadet in the upper 10% of their ROTC class and demonstrates qualities of dependability, good character, leadership potential, patriotism, and respect for the American heritage. Cadet Catherine Gordon, Air Force. Mr. Wayne Baggett, Treasurer, Valley of Altoona, from the Northern Masonic Jurisdiction of the Ancient Accepted Scottish Rite, will present the Scottish Rite Jurisdiction Award. This award is presented to an outstanding Air Force cadet in the sophomore or junior class who ranks in the top 25% of his or her academic class and who demonstrates potential for outstanding leadership by exhibiting qualities of dependability, good character, self-discipline, good citizenship, and patriotism. This year's recipient is Cadet Ian Cox. Colonel Lawrence Havard, Commander Detachment 720, will present the First Lieutenant James W. Dixon Memorial Award. Dixon Memorial Award. This award was established by the family of First Lieutenant Dixon. He was the first African-American wing commander from the 1961 class at Penn State's Air Force ROTC. He served honorably during the Vietnam War until his passing in a troop transport plane crash near Manila in May 1964. The award is presented to a senior Air Force cadet who demonstrates outstanding military and community leadership. This year's recipient is Cadet Ashley Narain, Air Force. Colonel Lawrence Abbott, Commander Detachment 720, will present the Air Force Association Award. This award is presented to a deserving junior Air Force ROTC cadet who possesses the characteristics essential to leadership in future positions of responsibility and is ranked in the upper 5% of their aerospace studies class. This year's recipient is Cadet Martha Christina, Air Force. Captain Wayne Wall, Professor of Naval Science, will present the Military Order of the Loyal Legion Awards. These awards are presented to cadets and midshipmen that demonstrated outstanding leadership potential, are in good academic standing, and embody high moral character. This year's recipients are Cadet Aaron Stevenson, Army. Midshipman Zachary Pender, Navy. Cadet Molly Soba, Air Force. Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Gross, Professor of Military Science, will present the General Society of the War of 1812 Awards. These awards are presented to the outstanding sophomore Army and Air Force cadets and Navy midshipmen who encourage and demonstrate the ideals of Americanism. This year's recipients are Cadet Matthew Jacob, Army. Midshipman Thomas Marcotte, Navy. Cadet Jose McGough Madero, Air Force. Miss Karen McCoy, USAA ROTC representative, will present the USAA Spirit Awards. These awards are presented to the senior Air Force cadet and naval midshipman or officer candidate who best exemplifies the concept of service to unit, community, and nation. This year's recipients are Midshipman Joseph Hoff, Jr., Navy. Cadet Lorenzo Temez, Air Force. Colonel Lawrence Havard, Commander, Detachment 720, will present the next group of awards. The National Defense Industrial Association Award is presented to the cadet who demonstrates outstanding leadership, academic achievement, and aptitude for military service. This year's recipient is Cadet Stephen McDonald, Air Force. The National Defense Transportation Association Award is presented to the top 20% of cadets who demonstrated outstanding leadership, academic achievement, and aptitude for military service. This year's recipient is Cadet Sean Hazlett, Air Force. Captain Wayne Wall, Professor of Naval Science, will present the next award. The Society of American Military Engineers Association Award. These awards are presented to the freshman and sophomore cadets and midshipmen who demonstrate leadership, scholarship, citizenship, and are pursuing studies in the field of engineering or science. This year's recipients are Cadet Jacob Kern, Army. Midshipman Jenna Herrick, Navy. Midshipman John Clinton, Navy. Cadet Ifani Chukwu Agbo, Air Force. Cadet Henry Rank, Air Force. Commander Edward Tracy, United States Navy retired, will present the next award. The Military Officer Association of America Awards. These awards are presented to the Army and Air Force cadets and naval midshipmen or officer candidates who demonstrate a high degree of potential to become outstanding officers in their services. This year's recipients are Cadet Lindsay Cowell, Army. Midshipman Liberty Krause, Navy. Cadet Leah Formica, Air Force. Colonel Floyd Houck, U.S. Air Force retired, will present the Osceola Mills ROTC Leadership Excellence Awards. These awards are presented to a junior or senior Air Force and Army cadets and Navy midshipmen who have exhibited outstanding traits in leadership, attitude, enthusiasm, and support of the Air Force ROTC Cadet Wing, Army ROTC Nittany Lion Battalion, or Naval ROTC Battalion, and have excelled academically. This year's recipients are Cadet Zachary Moody, Army. Midshipman Christopher Dursa, Navy. Cadet Vladimir Kalichow III, Air Force. Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Gross, Professor of Military Science, will present the National Security Award. This award is presented to the cadet or midshipman who demonstrates outstanding scholarship, including university courses in political science. This year's recipient is Cadet Thomas Shiro, Army. Mr. Javier Lopez Sione of Penn State Department of Spanish will present the Frederick Brooks Hubble Scholarship Award. This award is presented to the cadet or midshipman who demonstrates outstanding scholarship and includes university courses in Spanish or Portuguese. This year's recipient is Midshipman Frida Smith, Navy. Captain Wayne Wall, Professor of Naval Science, will present the next group of awards. The First Lieutenant Wendell S. McCrae Memorial Award is presented to the outstanding junior Marine who most demonstrated excellence in leadership and professionalism and best typifies the high standards of the United States Marine Corps. Gunnery Sergeant Charles Hickey, Marine Corps. The Second Lieutenant Carol R. Wade Memorial Award is presented to the outstanding Marine senior who best exemplifies the ideals and leadership ability exemplified by Second Lieutenant Wade. Second Lieutenant Wade served as the Assistant Marine Officer Instructor at the Pennsylvania State University Naval ROTC from 1961 to 1967. He gave his life while serving his country during the Vietnam War. This year's recipient is Midshipman Brian Tamer, Marine Corps. The Armed Forces Communications and Electronics Association Honor Awards are presented to the outstanding junior Army and Air Force cadets and naval midshipmen or officer candidate who demonstrate leadership and achievement in academics and are majoring in an area related to communications and electronics. This year's recipients are Cadet Brett Dalrymple, Army, Cadet Ethan Vinoy, Air Force. The Henry Chisman Memorial Award is presented to the midshipman who has compiled the highest academic average in advanced naval science courses. This year's recipient is Midshipman Grace Murphy, Navy. The Chief of Naval Operations Distinguished Midshipman Graduate Award is presented to the senior midshipman who meets the highest standards of leadership, academic excellence, and military performance. The award is selected by the Secretary of the Navy. This year's recipient is Midshipman Anthony Guardado. The Christian M. Gant U.S. Navy Leadership Memorial Award is presented to the senior NROTC student who exhibits superior leadership skills and academic excellence. This year's recipient is Midshipman John Patton, Navy. The Dallas and Diane Craft ROTC Outstanding Leadership. Apologies, sir. The Dallas and Diane Craft ROTC Outstanding Leadership and Service Scholarship is presented to students who achieve superior academic records, participate in a leadership billet and/or voluntary outreach service community. The recipients are Cadet Kareem Olson, Army. Midshipman Kevin Zavrati, Navy. Cadet Vladimir Kelichow III, Air Force. Captain Arnold Gash, U.S. Navy retired, will present the next group of awards. The Central Pennsylvania Navy League scholarships are awarded to deserving members of the Naval ROTC Battalion who most demonstrated excellence and professionalism and best typifies the high standards of the United States Navy. This year's recipients are Midshipman Hayden Severe, Navy. Midshipman Christopher Prokopchak, Navy. The Pennsylvania Naval Reserve Award is presented to the first-year college program Naval ROTC midshipman who maintains a high level of aptitude and academic achievement and demonstrates outstanding leadership ability. This year's recipient is Midshipman Braden Johnson, Navy. The Navy League of the U.S. Central Pennsylvania Council Award is presented to the senior naval ROTC student who exemplifies the highest ideals of the Midshipman's Code. This year's recipient is Midshipman Garrison Andolina, Navy. Colonel Aaron Vance, U.S. Air Force, Pennsylvania Air National Guard, will present the Pennsylvania Air National Guard Commander's Trophy. This trophy is presented to the junior or senior Air Force cadet who demonstrates through personal activities and character traits that most embody the ideals associated with the citizen soldier concept. This year's recipient is Cadet Brady Smith, Air Force. Colonel Lawrence Haggard, Commander, Detachment 720, will present the Major Lewis P. Smith II Fallen Warrior Memorial Award. This award is given to the senior Air Force ROTC pilot candidate who has excelled academically and exhibits outstanding leadership potential. This award honors Major Lewis P. Smith II, Air Force ROTC Detachment 720, Class of 1964, missing in action in Laos, May 30th, 1968. This year's recipient is Cadet Nicholas Alfrey, Air Force. The First Lieutenant Joshua D. Shepard Memorial Award. This award is in memory of First Lieutenant Joshua D. Shepard, who perished with the crew of a B-52 bomber in July 2008 off the coast of Guam. The award is presented to a junior Air Force ROTC pilot or navigator candidate who exhibits an outstanding academic record, is well-rounded socially, and is active in community life. This year's recipient is Cadet Mario Martimucci, Air Force. Captain Wayne Wall, Professor of Naval Science, will present the Anthony Roy Starner Memorial Scholarship Award. This award is presented in honor of Captain Anthony Starner, U.S. Marine Corps, who was a 1993 graduate of the Penn State NROTC program. This award is given to the naval midshipman who demonstrates outstanding academic performance in a history or liberal arts related major and is a veteran enrolled in ROTC or has military affiliation. This year's recipient is Midshipman Andrew Movsesian, Navy. Mr. Bob Johnson, past Commandant of the Nittany Leatherneck Detachment, will present the next award. Nittany Leatherneck's Colonel Gerald Russell Leadership Award is presented to a Marine Enlisted Commissioning Education Program student or Marine Option Midshipman for superior leadership qualities and community service. This year's recipient is Midshipman Christian Santiago, Marine Corps. Mr. David Brady will present the next award. The Marine Corps League Award is presented to the Senior Marine Enlisted Commissioning Education Program student or Marine Option Midshipman that has excelled in the areas of leadership, academics, and military performance while enrolled in a course of study in professional education prescribed by the Commandant of the Marine Corps. This year's recipient is Staff Sergeant Michael Hallahan, Marine Corps. Captain Wayne Wall, Professor of Naval Science, will present the Naval Submarine League Award. The Naval Submarine League Award is presented to the outstanding senior who has been approved for training and service in submarines, has demonstrated superior sustained performance in a difficult and challenging academic and operational environment, and as a result, earned their commanding officer's nomination for this distinctive award. This year's recipient is Midshipman Cassandra Parks, Navy. Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Gross, Professor of Military Science, will present the next group of awards. The Military Order of the Purple Heart Leadership Awards are presented to cadets and a midshipman in each ROTC unit achieving academic and leadership excellence. This year's recipients are Cadet Emma Austin, Army. Midshipman Owen Williams, Navy. Cadet Cole Renfro, Air Force. The George C. Marshall Award is presented to the most outstanding senior cadet who demonstrates the leadership and scholastic qualities which epitomize the career of General Marshall. This year's recipient is Cadet Adeline Hester, Army. The Department of the Army Superior Cadet Awards are presented to an Army cadet from each class who demonstrated exceptional officer potential. This year's recipients are Cadet Victoria Purchase, Army. Cadet Lauren Collis, Army. Cadet Cameron Marshall, Army. Cadet Carl Troutman, Army. Major Eric B. Orion, United States Marine Corps retired, will present the Lieutenant Junior Grade T. Brandon McCombie Memorial Awards. These awards are presented in honor of Lieutenant Junior Grade T. Brandon McCombie, a Penn State Naval ROTC graduate who gave his life in service to his country. The award is presented to the fall and spring semester Naval ROTC battalion commanders, executive officers, operations officers, as well as 2 midshipmen who demonstrated exceptional dedication to community service. For the spring semester, the recipients are Midshipman Evan Greenberg. Midshipman John Gerard. For community service, the recipients are Midshipman Joseph Donofrio, Navy. Colonel Lawrence Havard, Commander, Detachment 720, will present the next group of awards. The Colonel Stuart E. Kane Jr. Award of Excellence is presented to the Air Force cadet in the junior or senior class who epitomizes devotion to duty, patriotism, and the Air Force core values in their personal life. This year's recipient is Cadet Michael Hyden, Air Force. The Eagle Award is presented to an Air Force ROTC member in the junior or senior class for the most outstanding contribution, motivation, and warrior spirit. This year's recipient is Cadet Joshua Dasher. The Top Gun Warrior Leader Award is presented to the Senior Air Force ROTC cadet who best exemplifies the ideals of the officer corps. This year's recipient is Cadet Joshua Dasher. Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Gross, Professor of Military Science, will present the Honorable Samuel E. Hayes Jr. Sabre Award. This award is presented to the highest-ranking senior Army cadet that has chosen to serve in the Pennsylvania Army National Guard. This year's recipient is Cadet Graham Bordeaux. Captain Bruce Apgar, U.S. Navy retired, from the Penn State NROTC Alumni Interest Group will present the next awards. The Naval ROTC Alumni Award. This award is presented to a senior Naval ROTC student who embodies the ideals of honor, courage, and commitment. This year's recipient is Midshipman Ralph Ruggiero, Navy. The Naval ROTC Alumni Scholarship Award. This award is given to one midshipman in the Advanced Standing Program to assist with expenses of the senior year. The NROTC alumni recognize and salute the extraordinary commitment and motivation of any midshipman pursuing a commission without the benefit of the full NROTC scholarship. The recipient of this year's $2,500 scholarship award is Midshipman Ansley Howell. Dr. Jeff Adams, Associate Vice President and Associate Dean for Undergraduate Education for the Pennsylvania State University, will now present the Vice President Awards. These awards are presented to the most outstanding senior scholar leader in each service. This award's recipients are Cadet Daniel Hinton, Army. Midshipman Carl Hill, Navy. Cadet Lilia Stewart, Air Force. This concludes the presentation of awards. Please give them all a round of applause. This concludes the 2022 Joint Service Award Ceremony. Please stand for the departure of the official party. This concludes the ceremony. Thank you everyone for coming out and wishing all of these wonderful cadets and midshipmen well deserved.
Alright, this only took